want to know which planet was causing your suffering? How about Earth?
Hey everyone, Brandflakes here, back with a new Shadowverse 2 video. For today's video, I want to go over a new style of forest that has been gaining a lot of popularity and my own spin on it. I was stuck in Sapphire for the entirety of the start of this expansion because I was trying out for fun decks, quote unquote, like a mid-range fairy forest, and it was not going that great. So at some point a few nights ago, my mind snapped and I just made like a full-on aggro list, and it just does better than mid-range fairy, which is kind of sad. So I'll show you guys my list. There's another few takes on it online. Like there's a few versions that run Wildheart and Odin. I don't own Odin and I don't like Wildheart, so I'm not running that version. I'll have a free-to-play version in case you don't own any legendaries and you want to just make a very cheap deck, because I think this deck probably is the cheapest deck that you can permanently sit around in Sapphire once you're good. I don't think it's good enough to stay in Diamond. You can hit Diamond with this deck, but you'll probably fall out pretty quick afterwards because of the meta being very not well balanced in my opinion at the moment. But being Sapphire permanently is honestly not that bad for a free-to-play deck. And then I have my alternate version if I owned Odin. That's why it's called Owned In. But yeah, let's get right into it. So you're going to see that my deck is very, very 1 and 2 mana heavy. I'm going to be running basically every 1 and 2 mana card that has a good minion, except for Bug Alert, because I'm not trying to focus my gameplay around Rhino Roach. And the main thing with Bug Alert is that you can play it for this aggro fairy list. It's just that I personally don't like Bug Alert that much because it tends to sacrifice tempo for a value play, which works really well for certain types of Roach gameplay. And I know that Dion has a version of this deck where he does play Bug Alert, so I know it works. So it's just personal preference on what you want to take out for Bug Alert. The main win conditions of this deck are actually going to be Aria based and Fairy based. Roach does exist for win con, so always keep that in mind. But the reason why I want to make sure you guys understand that it is a Aria reach deck usually is because you can play Roach very early with this deck, even if it is your only copy of Roach. That's, for example, like turn 5, there's a 2/2 on the enemy board, you play both your fairies, and you have one Roach and like maybe like a Fairy Tamer or like a Lily that you don't want to play. You can play Roach and Eva the Roach and deal 5 to your enemy's face, and it will probably be correct because that is really efficient damage on that turn, and you will draw into an Aria eventually, hopefully, if you're not unlucky. And Aria with Cynthia is also a very good win con because with 2 fairies in hand, Cynthia can reach 9 damage for 6 mana, which is actually pretty much what you would get with Roach for 6 mana. No, actually it's more damage than you get with Roach for 6 mana. So you can't really underestimate the power of Cynthia in this deck, and that's why this deck has been enabled. This deck is pretty much only possible because of stuff like Fairy Fencer and Cynthia being added in. Pretty disappointing that Ambush from Above could be swapped out with Bug Alert, and I'd only be playing 2 new cards from the set. But Fairy Fencer and Cynthia are very, very powerful additions for this type of deck because they add in a lot of power and a lot of reach where you wouldn't have had otherwise in last set. So for Mulligan, you'll always be mulliganing for Fairy Convocation, Good Fairy, Fairy Tamer, Fairy Fencer, and Amataz. Every other card you want to throw away unless you have a very specific reason for wanting it. So for example, May, if you have something like Fairy Convocation, Fairy Tamer into May, and you're playing against something like, I don't know, like Aggro Abyss, then you could keep May. But for me personally, since I know my deck is full of better 1 and 2 costs, I would rather swap May out for Fairy Fencer so I have better board control, or even getting Amataz to be a blocker for stuff like Aggro Abyss. So your ideal opener is generally going to be like Fairy Convocation into Fairy Tamer into Amataz, which is a pretty hard curve to hit. So stuff like Good Fairy into Fairy Fencer into Amataz, while making a very tiny Amataz, is still acceptable because Amataz is pretty much like the fattest minion that you can play without having Wildheart in your deck, which is probably why people play Wildheart in this deck, because that way you don't have to rely on having fairy generators to have a decent minion on 3. But obviously the high roll is there. You will win a lot of random games by having a 5/5 or 6/6 Amataz on curve and playing as like Rune or Control Abyss that just can't deal with it on time, so they take like an extra 6 damage that they wouldn't want to take, and they lose the game because of it. So that's gonna be this version of the deck. The free-to-play version of the deck will be cutting the Amataz and the Aria, so therefore you will unfortunately have to play a lot more around the Roach finisher, and because of that we'll be playing stuff like Lambert Cairn and Bale in exchange for that Amataz and that the Amataz and the Aria. And you'll see I also took out Cynthia and put in Bug Alert, because once again, you will be playing a lot more around Roach than you are around that Cynthia Reach. So that means that Roach value is very, very important. And for the example earlier where I said 2 fairies into Roach Evo, instead of doing 2 fairies into Roach Evo, you're now going to do 1 fairy into Roach Evo and then bounce it back with the Bug Alert so you can have more Roach longevity. And this deck will be pretty much not the exact same mulligan, but in the early example where I said that I would throw away May for Amataz against Aggro Abyss, in this deck you would indeed keep May for the Aggro Abyss matchup because you don't have an Amataz to reach for, and you do need some board control and some board tempo with it. And yeah, you do have to learn how to play around Cairn and keep your 0 costs for the Roach combo, and you have to remember that this is not Carbuncle Roach, so doing a full 20 is pretty much impossible, which is the reason why this deck, I would say, I don't know if I said it in this take, but this deck is not a deck that you will expect to be sitting in Diamond with. This is a deck that you're probably going to bounce between Sapphire and Diamond with once you get good at it. And I would even honestly say you could expect yourself to drop to Ruby a good amount, because in Sapphire, that's where a lot of Ward Havens live. And funnily enough, Ward Haven drops out of the just completely is dead in Diamond, because Ward Haven is not a good craft in Upper Elos with how unfair a lot of the later decks are. But since Sapphire is a bit more casual and has a good amount less of those unfair crafts, unfortunately, your hard counter will be more apparent. So you will have a bit less fun if you see Ward Haven, but there is no fairy deck that beats Ward Haven, sadly. So you'll just have to take the free L whenever you see it. And then I don't own Odin, but this is my deck I would play if I did own Odin. Odin is pretty powerful, so I'd be cutting a Fae and a Lily to add in 2 more Odins. Everything else is pretty much the same from the previous list, except now you have 2 Odins, and I think you probably could cut another card, like maybe cut 1 good fairy for a 3rd Odin if you really wanted the 3rd Odin, just because Odin is extremely powerful in this meta. He will give you additional reach that you wouldn't normally have. He is a good board clear. He's even a cheap clear and deals 4 damage for 7 mana in case you want to hold on to cards in your hand, but you have nothing better to play. So Odin is definitely the power card. Like, Odin is the card of the set for the most part, because so many good tempo decks will be playing Odin, and since this aggro fairy force deck is basically tempo, Odin will show up. So yeah, the rest of the video will be a random game I select from my stream that I played this on, and I think I'll probably try and find an actual good game that shows off the power of this deck. But I guess it is an important caveat to note that this deck is pretty much just a worse base sword, or worse like tempo sword at the moment. So if you have access to Albert and Gildaria and Odin's, you should probably just play tempo sword instead. If you know who Spices is a Japanese YouTuber who plays this game, and this guy is like permanently 75% win rate in very high Masters Diamond with tempo sword. So playing this is essentially saying, I don't want to play sword, so I'll play its worst little brother, which is unfortunate, but that's just how the meta is balanced right now. And therefore, if you want to play Forest in an aggro way or tempo way, you are just playing worse sword. If you want to play true power Forest, then it probably is still Roach Carbuncle. And I don't know if that deck is any better than tempo sword, so it probably is, again, just a worse tempo sword. But all that wanting aside, game here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time after, if you guys want to keep watching other videos. See you in the replay. Because Roach was going to be a guaranteed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 damage reach. And if I can plan around 11 damage reach, the game's just way easier.
One dimension.
So I drew that entire game. Oh, why, man? Why? God's weakest Amataz incoming. If I get Fairy Tamer, it's fine, but Fairy Fencer 3/3. Whatever. Amataz on curve, I'll take it. Can't be complaining that much about Amataz on curve.
I hope my potions can help.
There's no end to a fairy blader's training.
Hey, Fig One.
I'll never be enough. The Truth Seeker.
Edelweiss on curve. Oh, joy.
How to be the cutest.
Why we let this be good, I have no clue. Whatever. This is so broken. This is so broken. It's like crazy that Dirt player, I mean, I knew this was gonna happen, but it's like insane that Dirt has access to this.
My leash.
Dirt has access to like the strongest 4 cost because it evolved itself for fun. Whatever. I saw gameplay against it. I just took 4 damage for free. But that 4 damage is gonna snowball into a double Odin killing me.
You will.
The right cinch transforms you.
Evo.
Care to sample my new food?
Oh, right. I forgot that that does that for no reason. Okay.
Hands off the flowers, bub. Let's play a game. Tag.
Oh, you reek.
I feel like they may have overcompensated Earthrights a little bit. It already had one of the best 4 drops, then they gave them one of the best 4 drops part 2. Oh yes, I would love a 4 drop that does 3 damage and gives me an Earth Sigil, and then when I evolve it gives me another Earth Sigil, another 3 damage, and also gives me a 5/5 body. Yes. I'm sure Rune needed this. Whatever. I need to never see Rune players complain about aggro countering them this set. Like, I agree 100% aggro destroyed Rune last set, but this set, when they have Earthright with Giga Tempo and Giga Priority, and they have Norman...
The legends are true.
Like, what is that?
Anytime.
5 drop, shoots me, and then now he's permanent 3/3s. Like what?
My wings shall be your deliverance.
Don't look away.
Hear the primal cry. Leave this place.
This don't make no sense.
Tag. Same time tomorrow? Same time tomorrow? No way. You're in the splash zone, pal.
My turns have been extremely good. I guess their turns... I mean, yeah, I guess their turns have also been extremely good.
Will transform your skin.
Oh, Norman to more 3/3s. Yay! Any trades? Because Norman is an 8/8 body with Evo for some reason. Despite healing 8s or making a billion 3/3s. Oh my god. Clear. There's a way to clear all this. I can't clear everything, but I can clear a lot.
His mask.
Fun's not over yet.
Berry.
Let's play a tag. Same time tomorrow? Let Lily's magic guide you.
7. 1 left over.
The world is full of splendor. Fellowship. This is a breeze.
The fact that I can clear all this is kind of insane, but I did the most broken combo I have to clear it. We'll see if I can finish the game out, because he still has a lot. Game figured out you made a diamond with aggro and said nope. I mean, in the game's defense, I'm now in diamond, so the deck quality is automatically insanely better because they're all playing meta decks. Every deck in diamond is either a tier 2 deck high rolling, or it's just simply insanely powerful. Okay, well, there goes my board.
If my mouth is open,
Failed you.
feed me.
Aura, by the way. By the way, Aura. Okay, I can Arya. Might have to Arya. Arya. I need to play Arya Fairy. Arya again. I can also Roach. But I have to kill it twice. Oh my god. Yeah, how am I doing this? Fairy. Nope. No, just has to be Arya.
My wings shall be your deliverance.
I see.
Arya with an Evo.
Hear the primal cries of nature.
King once.
Same time tomorrow?
With a fairy, with Fae.
Wiggle with your wings. Twinkle with your toes. I'm still hungry. think I'm stuffed. Not even.
Can't clear it, sadly. If I could clear this, it'd be super good, but I cannot. Juno? Juno's so... I cannot believe Earthwood has all of his value. The fact that I'm even close is... I mean, my draw this game was incredibly good. I had an incredibly good draw, and I'm still not even close to winning. I need this guy to have, like, a... I don't even know what he... Actually, he's dirt, so he doesn't have William. Odin kills my 8-8, so he needs exactly Odin. If he has exactly Odin, I think he wins. But if he doesn't have Odin, I have a pretty good chance. He plays Kuon?
Get lost.
One, two. I hope my potions can help. What cruelty. I think I'm stuffed.
Dude,
Not even.
what? The actual... Dude, what was that? Why does that game do that? Why does the game do that? Why does the game do that?
Guide you.
I swung my mouse down and then immediately flipped out my roach.
Dogwood staff.
Oh my god. Whatever. Why does the game do that?
Tag.
I'll never be enough.
You're in the splash zone, pal.
What a misclick. Why does the game do that?
Ow. Be cleansed.
This should be like a 4 damage. I missed 3 damage because the game just flung out my card for no reason. That actually is the reason why I lose. That's actually the reason why I lose. Because it would have been Godwood Staff, Good Fairy, Lily, kill that unit, and then another Fairy into Roach. I literally lost because the game... Oh my god.
All I can do is
I lose the
ease
game
up
for that. Infinite value.
All I can do is ease up at them.
I cannot believe I'm losing because of that play. Is it Sage Light?
The spark of knowledge. I should have practiced more.
I missed 4 damage. Do I have enough?
What's today's?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game.
4, 5. I never punished. Never punished. Wow. The game rewarded my misclick with
For my people.
perfect top deck. Oh my god. It should have not been... It should not even come down to that. Okay, I literally had like the perfect game, and I still almost lost.
Lofty.
Calculated, yeah. That was literally the perfect game for my deck, and I almost lost it.